And this irritates me. My blood pressure is probably going to get a little high here. The headline for Fox Business is layoffs. Companies copy others in almost mindless imitation. Well, this is really true. And I've been saying this on the show. Stanford Graduate School of Business professor Jeffrey Pfeffer noted that companies tend to copy each other in almost mindless imitation he calls social contagion. Dr. Yalda Safai, a psychiatrist based in New York City, told Fox Business that panic, hysteria, and anxiety are contagious. Duh. I'm going to park here for a second because this is really important that you folks understand this, and we have a lot of leaders that are watching. Leaders, listen to me. I'm going to make you uncomfortable, and some of you I'm going to outright piss off, but if you are mature enough to listen to what I'm saying, you'll get some truth out of this, but some of you won't. So I'm going to go ahead and warn some of you. As soon as I say one word, I haven't even told Alex what I'm going to say, but it has to be said to illustrate the point. But as soon as I say it, some of you are going to go, ah, 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 or whatever noise that you choose to make, or whatever name you choose to call me. And here we go. I'll start with the lead in, and then we'll really hack everybody that might be hacked off. We'll hack them off. Number one, this response that this psychiatrist is talking about, this social contagion, okay? This is literally like the old school game that we played in elementary school, Simon Says, all right? Simon says, pat your head. So everybody pats their head. Simon says, rub your belly. So we all rub our belly. And then on the game goes. And what happens is, in the game Simon Says, in this social contagion, Alex, the Amazon laying off 20,000 people, Apple laying off people, Facebook, the list can go on and on and on that we've announced. Big companies are laying people off. And we've talked about this. That's Simon. It's the equivalent of Simon going, pat your head. And so a lot of other companies, they look and they see the headlines too, and these CEOs get scared and they get the pucker factor, if you know what I'm talking about. And then they start to go, oh, well, if they're laying people off, they're bigger than we are, well, we should lay people off. And so they start going, well, why are they laying people off? And we got to lay people off. And there's the social contagion. Okay? So what's happening in the corporate world with layoffs is the old school Simon Says. But here's the other thing that we see. And we lose sight of any type of logic when we, as leaders, and when companies go, well, they're doing it, we should do it. And let me take you back to the pandemic. And this is where some people are going to get offended. Just listen to what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I can't help it. All right, let's go back to the middle of the pandemic. And in this part of the country, I can't speak to other parts of it. Let's go to when you'd go to a restaurant, you had to wear a mask until you got to your table. Now, again, I'm not, let me clarify. I'm not banging on wearing a mask. If you feel safe and felt that everybody in the world should wear a mask, I'm not going to disagree with you for a second. All right, here's what I am saying. It made no sense to me that we would walk into a restaurant with a mask on, sitting in the lobby or talking to the hostess, and walking to the table, I got to have a mask on. But when I sit down at the table to eat, I take the mask off. Now, that made no sense to me, and quite frankly, no one can say that that makes any sense. Here's one that happened. I went to the movie theater. Had to have the mask on all the way in. I go up to buy some popcorn, and I say to the young man, just for fun, so do we have to wear the mask in the theater? Yes, unless you're eating popcorn. Oh, fantastic. To which I ate popcorn all the way in and throughout the entire movie, and you get my point. Here's what I'm getting at. Why was that policy instituted during the pandemic? I'll tell you why. Because certain restaurants in New York may have done it that way, or somewhere in the industry, the restaurant industry, was like, well, here's the deal. Make everybody wear a mask until they get to the table. And what we're doing is we're kind of saying it's a virtue signaling situation. So everybody else is doing it this way, so we're going to do it this way. And no one except the customer stopped to go, that doesn't make any sense. Does the COVID's, it's a polite disease. It doesn't want to interrupt me while I'm eating. but it'll get me in the lobby. Here's my point. Why do we do things like that? What is it? I'm going to tell you what it is. Social contagion. And so it's the same thing with layoffs. There's a mild recession coming. That is the prediction. Mild. Okay, we're even seeing signs of abating inflation. We are seeing good signs. Gas prices are down. That's good. Right? I mean, look, I don't think we're going into a raging recession, but here's the deal. It's in the headlines. And so companies start going, well, I got to lay people off, got to lay people off, got to lay people off. Why? Because everybody else is doing it. Now, they're not going to tell you that, but that's what's going on. Now, to this point, if you are a white-collar worker and you are 100% remote or you are hybrid, I'm telling you, I'm begging you to pay attention and be ready. Have an exit strategy. Why? So here's what happens. I already set the table for you. So you have some big companies doing layoffs, so other companies start going, well, if they're doing layoffs, we got to do layoffs. It's monkey see, monkey do. So here's what happens. Once companies realize they can ship your white-collar job overseas to somebody who can do it for 50, 60, 70% of your cost, do you think they're not going to do that? You're out of your mind if you don't think they're going to do that. They're going to do it. They are going to ship your remote or hybrid job somewhere else at a fraction of the cost. Because once you're at a point where you can do everything remote, then that means someone else can do it. And there's somebody in different continents of the world that'll do your job. You're getting paid $120, they'll do it for $60 with a smile. I'm just telling you. And this is already being predicted by some economists. So I would be paying attention to this. This is where this is going to go. If we move into even a mild recession and companies start tightening the belt, and it's a company that's going, we wanted you back in, and there's a rub there, at some point when companies, just watch. It's going to be the same thing, Alex. It's Domino's. You know what I should have done today? I should have brought in an old box of Domino's and set up a circle and just went tink and then watch them fall. Because let me tell you what's coming. Just as we're seeing a little bit of a trickle of layoffs coming, let me tell you something. First time a major company, you just let it be Apple, and they drop 1,000 white-collar jobs, people working remotely, white-collar jobs, six-figure jobs, and they send them to India. Watch what happens. Everybody else is going to start doing it. And now that's going to reset some things. Now, Alex, thank you very much, guys. Very well done, Andrew. Let me just say this. I hope that this doesn't happen, but I'm telling you, we've got Starbucks workers unionizing. We've got unions growing, the younger people, and it's a fabulous message. Hey, let's band together to beat the man and get the most pay possible. Companies will adjust. And there's somebody out there in this world that can do what you do as well, or if not better than you. And they will ship your job before you can even sniff it.